What's going on, guys? We are back here with another episode of Batting Practice, and I know it sounds a little bit different because it is a little bit different. We're doing a solo cast today. It is me, it's just Jacob today. It's at Batting Jacob on Twitter, recording for you guys today, and we're talking Sorare Rivals. That's right. Newly updated, newly came out, I want to say 5 days ago from when we are uploading this podcast, and that's what we are going to be talking about today. So, I know it's a little bit different. You say, "Why? What's up? What's happening with everybody else?" Well, we had some Wi-Fi issues, and currently I am living in North Carolina, and I don't have to deal with winter. I don't have to deal. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I have to deal with winter every now and then. And being from the north, I know how to handle it. But we right now it's probably 45, 50. It's raining a little bit. If it was 20 degrees colder, it'd be snowing. And it's doing that up north. And that's where Andrew and Josh live. And their Wi-Fi is all over the place right now. So it's just me recording here. Hence why we're talking about rivals. We're going to go a little bit into football. I'm going to be calling it football because that's what they call it on Sorare. So we are going to be calling it football rivals today, but we're also going to be talking about how they could implement this sort of game into MLB and into NBA as well. So how'd you guys do? I guess let's get off right away and let me talk about our usernames real quick. Us three, because I know we got some mentions on Twitter, some mentions in the comments on YouTube about what are your guys' usernames? Why can't we challenge you guys to rivals? Well, there's no reason other than we haven't given you guys our usernames. So without further ado, I am Up North Jacob. That's right. UPNORTHJACOB. Up North Jacob. Josh is Jerdy04. That's JERDY04. And Andrew is ANDRU007. All right, so I will put those in the description as well on YouTube and the description on Spotify, on Anchor, so we will be good to go for that sort of stuff. But yeah, challenge us. We were challenging each other this weekend, and we did all right. I think I did all right. I think that's the best I can say. I went 1-3 in the arena. Yikes! So I only won one of my head-to-head matchups against someone random out there. But against Nosh and Andrew, I want to say I only lost one against my quote unquote friends, my rivals, as we'll see in the article when we go over that. But I did all right. I didn't win anything in terms of cards, ETH, or even like a mystery box, something like that. But hey, I won coins for the shop, and we're getting close to unlocking one of those jerseys whenever they release them next in the club shop. So there's that. So I guess like what is rivals? Why are we talking about football? Why are we doing this episode? Well, it's because it's a new free to play, I should say, free to play game that Sorare has implemented just in football, where you can play head to head. You can pick anyone with a capped lineup depending on the game. The cap will be different levels. So I want to say like two good teams, like when Bayern played the other day, the cap was maybe 290, but then later on we did the Chelsea game and that cap was 250. So it switches per game, but that, again, that doesn't matter. You're building a team within that cap and selecting a captain to perform well. And you get points for passes, you get points for shots on target, you get points for dribbles completed, you get points for so many different things. I could go on and on. And you also get points, like big points for goals, big points for assists, stuff like that. There will be plenty of videos, I should say, there are plenty of videos out there talking about Sorare scoring and stuff like that. So I would, if you're new to the Sorare football world, I would go over those sort of videos just so you can learn the scoring and how such things work. But yeah, download the app. You can use our link in the comment section below as a referral link to down the road download the Sorare app and challenge us in rivals. So yeah, let's get it. And I want to say thank you again for listening to the podcast. If you're on YouTube, please give it a little thumbs up. If you are on Spotify, please give us a nice little rating. That would be awesome. But all right, so let's get into this article introducing Sorare Rivals. Download the app, play now. They just released the Android app, so it's nice how they came out with the Android app and then released Rivals later on. Again, it says compete for glory by challenging your friends, quote unquote friends, because it's called Sorare Rivals. Imagine that. So, win epic prizes such as player signed jerseys. Yes, you can eventually build up enough coins or compete at the highest levels for player signed jerseys, so rare pro cards to compete in other so rare competitions, and much more. Plus, it's free to play. Heyo, back when I started so rare, it was not free to play, let me tell you that. So, you can there's a lot of matches going on right now. I'm seeing AFCON matches, I'm seeing FA Cup matches, we had Premier League, we had Bundesliga matches, we had La Liga, so we had so many different kinds of matches that we could pick from. It's really cool to see how many matches they are implicating here. There are also tactics that you can choose within your lineup, and I actually lost a matchup. This is crazy. I lost a matchup because I did not have the correct tactics set for my team, and my opponent got a bonus 10 points for completing something. It's like how many passes his players completed versus how many tackles my players completed. It's a whole sort of thing. Again, we're not going over in depth and how what to do for rivals. We're just going to talk about it and how they can implement it into the other sports as well. So yeah, you can challenge your friends. I love being able to challenge Nash and Andrew finally head to head directly. It's not like we're just competing in a league or keeping track of each other's scores, writing it down on paper. Oh, what'd you do? I scored this week. What'd you score? Aha, we beat each other. No, we're actually competing head to head. So fun to do like that. You can also, again, you can set your notifications on and get updates for scores just like you would get in the Premier League app. You don't need that anymore. You can just turn that on in the SoRare app as long as you have your rivals team going on. So it's another cool thing. You can unlock the arena too. So this is huge. Once you beat a friend, once you beat your quote unquote friend, you unlock the arena and you can play 5 times, or sorry, they give you 5 free tickets to enter the arena. And you get a free ticket once per day as well. You have to go into the app and actually claim it, or you can go onto the website as well, I believe. But I've only done it on the app. Arena is where you can play anyone around the world. It's where I went 1 and 3. You can use pro cards in this, and pro cards do get a 20% bonus, which is awesome. But you usually will come up against someone else who also has a pro card with a 20% bonus. So it's not like it's getting a a huge advantage. It just depends on who that is and if they perform well. If they perform well, that bonus is going to matter a little bit more than someone who doesn't perform. So you are competing for reputation, which is kind of like a ranking system. It's kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? MMR sort of system, matchmaking and ranking system, where you will come up against players who have similar skills as you, similar managerial skills as you. So right now, since I'm kind of a trash manager, I'm coming up against other kind of trash managers, but it's all right because I finally won one. So sounds like the people who played for the beta are having their scores reset. That was just someone testing it out, or a lot of people, I should say, testing it out, but their scores are being reset to everyone else's base level of 100 as well. Can't wait to see you guys on top of the leaderboard. I know I won't be, or at least not soon. We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. But there we go. I mean, that's about it. So rare rivals. Like I said, I don't want to get too much in depth to the scoring and everything, but I would definitely recommend checking it out for So Rare Football. If you have not checked out So Rare Football yet, it definitely had me watching some matches this weekend that I normally would not have watched. I threw on ESPN. I was watching some La Liga matches. I was actually watching in Spanish, which was great. So would highly recommend downloading that app or at least starting some sort of So Rare Rivals team. And you can, even if you don't have any sort of care for football, for soccer, then this definitely brings attention to that. And you can watch and you can win stuff too. You can win stuff. And if you don't have any friends to unlock the arena, invite us and we will challenge you and hopefully you can beat us and unlock the arena. So again, those usernames are down there below. So how could this be implemented into NBA and MLB? I mean, it's already there. The platform's already there. NBA has 5 players as well, just like football does. So they could honestly do some sort of like very similar thing where players have a cap. You pick these players against their cap, and you have the exact same NBA scoring. If they play 2 games, you take the higher score. If you play 1 game, that's it. And you can also have custom tactics. You could have like offensive. You could have 3 pointers. You get a bonus for every 3 pointer made, or you could have points in the paint. You get a bonus for every layup made in the paint or something like that. So there's already things going on in my head that they could add if they are going to do rivals for the NBA season. And as for right now, I don't know if they're going to add it. It's it's the middle of January. All-Star game is coming up in I want to say less than a month now. And that marks a little bit past the middle of the season. So we're probably about midway, just a little bit under midway through the season right now. And we haven't heard much of anything about the club shop, even. So I don't know if that means that they're working on rivals behind the scenes and they're trying to get that out there before they do the club shop, or if they're going to release them simultaneously. I would expect that they're going to release the club shop the before they release the rivals for the NBA, but that's just my opinion. I mean, you need coins in the club shop to buy or to win, sorry. You win coins, or at least I won coins this past weekend in rivals. So you can win coins in NBA rivals, but they don't really have a coin system to win. So I would assume the club shop is going to come out before. And the club shop, speaking of which, already exists in the MLB. And all we saw so far was just boosts, just bonuses for your players, just XP boosts to boost them for certain games. I know I took advantage in the playoffs of those boosts. But I assume since we already have that club shop established that we will see things like signed merch and signed jerseys in the future for MLB come into that club shop for a certain amount of coins. As for rivals, again, it's 7 players, so it'd be a little bit more in terms of variance, which is fine. I like that. I want to see more variance. I want to see more scores put up because something I've seen from rivals in football is that someone I'm getting matched up against has very similar players to me. Maybe it's only one player out of 5 that's different, which it's fun. It's fun to root for that one player, but it also kind of sucks because even if you don't have different captains, it's like you almost don't want to root for that player if that player has a captain for them, but not you. But then you also get the exact same score that the opponent is getting when they do something good for your team. So you get a little bit more variance like that in baseball with 7 players. And I know for a fact that they could do it for sure. It's just like figuring out the scoring, figuring out how you're going to implement pro cards and all that stuff. Of course, I don't know anything about the programming that goes on for rivals. I couldn't tell you 2 things about what's happening in that regard, so we're not even going to bother with that. But as for implementing that, we have 2 months. We have 2.5 months almost before the baseball season starts. And haven't heard much. We talked about it last week. We talked about MLB and how we're kind of okay. We're a little bit disappointed, but we're also okay with them not releasing much about the MLB this offseason because no fantasy platform is releasing much about baseball this offseason. So why does Sorare have to keep in touch and do something like every week, every other week, when ESPN, when Yahoo Fantasy Baseball, well, I mean, they aren't doing anything. I want to hear, I'd love to hear a counterpoint to that. Let me know if you want to hear like people paid for their cards or something like that. They should be getting rewards in the off season. I mean, I could see that for sure being an argument to have. So let me know if you have an argument against that in the comment section below. But again, I guess the last thing here to say about rivals is I could see it being implemented, but I just don't know how quick it's going to take them. That's the main problem I see. The club shop is already in place for MLB. So that's a good step for MLB. I do think we need the club shop before we will see anything like this in NBA, but we will see. So, moving on. It's going to be a quicker podcast today because it's just me, but that's totally cool. I'm going off the script I'm not going off the script. I'm going off script. I have no script. I'm just talking because this is something I just do and I could talk forever. But that's why I'm going to try and keep it short is because otherwise I will talk forever. So, we started the segment last week, and I have to keep this segment up going this week, even though I'm just by myself. But we have our Sorare MVP of the week, number 2. This is for game weeks 22 and 23. We have our MVP. And I told Nosh and Andrew to do their homework last week about coming up with a better name for our Sorare MVP of the week, our Sorare Player of the Week. And, well, it's just me today. So can't really blame them. It's like the dog actually ate their homework. Their Wi-Fi ate their homework. So, without further ado, I keep saying without further ado. And the thing is, I'm gonna keep delaying it and keep talking and keep delaying it and keep talking. No, I'm kidding. MVP, Player of the Week, Game Weeks 22-23, Player of the Week 2 is D'Angelo Russell for your Los Angeles Lakers. He has an average of 23 and he put up 64 total points, Sorare points, outperformed by 41. That is a huge performance. He was not in my lineup. He was in Nosh's lineup. Nosh was less than a point away from winning a tier 1 reward. He won a tier 2 reward. And believe it or not, he won the exact player for the reason why D'Angelo Russell put up 64 points. That player, LeBron James. So shout out to Nosh for winning a LeBron James limited card in limited, I want to say it was contender, is where he threw D'Lo in there. But something to keep out for, something to keep in mind, in your mind, is that it's LeBron. He was the reason he was out, and D'Angelo Russell took over. The Lakers still didn't win the game. They lost by 2. They lost by 7. They played the Jazz. They lost 132 to 125. And it took D'Lo everything he had to try and keep up, but they still couldn't. But hey, that doesn't matter from a Sorare perspective because he put up 39 points and 39 points and 8 assists. 8 assists, of course, putting up 12 points for that in the Sorare perspective. He did turn the ball over 3 times, but also made 2 3-pointers. So, not a bad score. D'Angelo Russell. Again, keep in mind if LeBron is out, if there is a star player out in some other team that you are sure is going to be out and you have his backup, and I know D'Angelo Russell isn't really a backup. He could definitely be a tier 1 player on other teams. But D'Lo comes in and puts up 39 points in LeBron's absence. Lakers put up 125 total, which always helps. But hey, there we go. We have D'Angelo Russell, 64 points, MVP of the week, number 2. All right. So that's about all I got for you guys here. But let's do a fun section because I'm here by myself and we are going to try, let's see, what should we do here? Let's do a Jakob Poodle, the NBA player guessing game. Let's pull this up real quick. It's just me. I have no help. So let's see if I can get this. There we go. So I think it's only appropriate to start off with D'Angelo Russell here. And it's a guard. It's a taller guard than D'Angelo Russell, but everything is wrong. This is good. This is really good because he might be on the Bucks. He's on the Bucks, baby. I'm so glad I did that today. All right. So it is a guard taller than Malik Beasley on the Bucks. Okay, let me just like rally off Could it be Cam? Let's see. Older than 27. Okay. Bobby Portis is more of a forward, isn't he? Yeah. All right. Is it Dame? I'm losing my mind. I'm not going to get it. It's the Bucks, and I'm not going to get it. All right. Let's just think here. Is it Pat Connaughton? He's a guard. Hey, Pat Connaughton. How about that? I'm going to tell the boys to do the Guess Who today because it's a buck, and for sure they're going to get it. There we go. How about that? I'm impressed. I'm impressed with myself. And yeah, let's go. Let's go. That's a good way to start off today. I solved it in 5. I could have had that earlier. That Bobby guess was a little unnecessary. I don't know why I threw that in there. I was like, he's more of a forward as soon as I said that. But there we go. So there we have it. The solo cast podcast, batting practice. We're back. Well, we never left, but I wanted to keep the streak going. It's been 71 episodes now. And I was like, we can't lose the streak. We can keep the streak. And we have. And thanks for listening to the solo cast. Again, usernames for rivals in the description below. Would highly recommend challenging us. I will respond. If you don't challenge, or sorry, if you do challenge the other boys and they don't respond, tweet at us because we will respond eventually. So follow us on Twitter at BatPracticePod. Again, like, subscribe if you haven't. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a 5-star rating on the social media, on what's it called, on Spotify, on Spotify. Don't know why I pronounced it like that. Spotify, leave that ratings. All right. So again, thanks for listening, and it's time to get in the game. Peace.